Hello there, everyone. TheAndrata here, and welcome back to episode 58 of our Enigmatica 6 Expert Let's Play series. For today, we're doing a lot of comment catching up. I got a lot of shout outs for you guys for the past couple episodes. You guys have been leaving a lot of feedback and everything, so we got that to take care of, and we work on a couple quests. More of a maintenance episode than anything. Let's get started. Welcome back, my friends, to another glorious day here in the world of TheAndrata, where it's nice and beautiful and sunny, and we're having fun, and we're doing the thing. Let's go ahead and check out our Amadron tablet. It's been a little while since we've been here and seen what we can get through here. So just checking things out. What do we got? Nothing terribly too good so far. Yeah, nothing really that I want. I don't think. Angler's Bounty. Yeah, no, we're cool. All right, let's go ahead and throw that back in there and do the thing. And you know what? Let's take a look at our Amadron survey tools, right? I think I want to take a look at this. Amadron survey tools. Okay, let's go ahead, because it's been sitting there for a while. I mentioned it a while back. We need to get this going. This is ugly. I need to get something else situated there, but I'm going to go ahead and grab a barrel and go see how this works. Okay, so the Amadron survey tools. These are an item that allows your Amadron drones to gather rare resources, as it said. And depending on where you use this at determines what sort of resources you're going to get. So for example, right now we have an Atom mineral survey, which requires us to be in Atom, and then we can use it to do Atom stuff. And I did mention I was going to set up occultism in between episodes, and I never did actually do that, did I? You guys wouldn't know that until just now when we popped in here and saw that there was nothing set up. Okay, so what we want to do is go ahead and set up a barrel out here, throw this in there, and we're going to bind our Amadron tablet to the barrel. And we're going to say, hey, Amadron, I want you to do a Atom mineral survey with our Amadron survey tools. So we're going to go ahead and place an order for this, and we're going to see what happens. And as long as we don't get attacked like we are right now, we're going to be okay. Here comes our drone, picking up our survey tools, and it's going to go off and do the survey. Okay, well, whatever. Hello, my friend. Look, he's surveying. He did the thing. They did some work. They put in effort, and we got an Atom mineral survey out of this. So let's go ahead and pop back home and check out what the heck an Atom mineral survey is. Because I don't know, and I'm interested to see exactly what the heck this thing does. I'm going to go ahead and rebind this to here, so that way it's ready to go for us, and we're good to go. Okay, so Atom mineral survey. We can go ahead and place this down and open it up, and it's going to be something. First off, it's a reinforced chest, and you get to keep the reinforced chest, which is great. It's a good, easy way to get reinforced chest. But there's going to be rare Atom stuff in here, potentially Nebu ore, which is what I'm hoping to see is Nebu ore. And we got Nebu ore. Look at that. We got 41 Nebu ore. Pretty good. We got some air canisters, some gold chunks, iron chunks, nickel. We got relic ore, some strange sand, and then just like diamond chunks, emerald, copper, all kinds of stuff. A steel paxel, apparently, 8 air canisters for whatever we need to use those for, though I don't really know if I need to use them, but sure, we'll keep them there. Nebu ore is processed in our crusher, right? I can throw this in the crushing wheel? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I know I had done it before. I just didn't remember if I put it in there directly or if it needed a some other processing to happen with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw the Nebu ore in here. How about relic ore? What does this do? This just turns into gold. And it's a singular gold, too, apparently. Like, nothing even fancy. Okay. We can throw the nickel chunks, the iron chunks, the gold chunks, copper, aluminum, silver, and all that stuff. What about emerald chunks? Those can be crushed, and we can get 2 with the potential for 2 more. 2 with the potential for 2 more here in a pulverizer. Induction smelter we can boost as well. And I don't think we get any other better options until we get into mechanism. 1-to-1 or 2. High levels of stress. What does that even mean? Overstress a furnace engine. What? I don't even understand how I did that. Look, we're only using 8,000 stress units. I don't understand. Why is it saying that I overstressed this thing? That's a little concerning. Sure, let's go ahead and throw those in there. And fluorite chunks, I'm assuming you can probably get crushing wheeled too. Sure, why not? So theoretically, what should happen with those is all of that stuff should end up in this barrel here, which is not, which is our catch-all for everything that does not get crunched and everything. And look at all the stuff that we have. This is just from the little bit that I processed that we had. We have a bunch of ingots. I like it. We need to eventually get this automated and get ender chests or something set up out there so we can automate all the processing, but we'll get there when we get there. Speaking of ender chests, I have some shout outs that I need to take care of from in between episodes that, well, you guys had shouted out. So let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. So first off, we got quite a few. So because it's been a little bit since I've done this, so just bear with me. Feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to listen to it, but there's a lot of good tips. So I recommend staying around for it. So first off, Night Shard in my Discord. If you didn't know, I do have a Discord. Links in the bio there. Mentioned that the botanist pick that we got as a quest reward a while ago is not a pick. It is not meant to be a pick. It is a special pick from Nature's Aura that is intended to turn cobblestone into mossy cobblestone. Now, how this works, I don't know, but we're going to try this out and see what happens. So do I like right click? Look, bam, I right click on this. It turns it into mossy cobblestone, just like that. Sweet. All right. Thank you for that information. That's actually pretty good to know because we have had to use mossy cobblestone, as you guys know, for like our henge and stuff. Also, Night Shard mentioned that there is a cheap way to get a void upgrade, or a quote-unquote void upgrade for our stuff. So as it stands now, we have all of our stuff getting dumped into chests and everything, and then if we needed drawers with void upgrades, we really don't have a recourse for that. However, Pretty Pipes, if we look in this, has a priority module in which we can set a pipe to have a low priority, decreases the reception priority of adjacent inventories. So if we set a low priority or a lowest priority module into and have a pipe connected over here to like a trash can, we could have that pipe set up with the lowest priority. And then if this were to fill up any of these resources, it would try and put it in there. It can't, and then should move it over to the trash can because that is set to the lowest priority. So yeah, so easy void upgrades, not too expensive to set up or do. It looks like our thing jammed up. And this happens. Look, this happens with oak. I don't know why. Look, it literally it jammed completely up. Our mechanical bearing is gone. And this only ever happens with oak, as far as I know. Like, I've never had this issue happen with anything else. And people have mentioned this in the comments lately too. And again, like I said, it's only happening with oak. I need to get that aura generator thing set up so that trees like this cannot happen anymore. Because that's a pain, because now I have to actually recreate my mechanical bearing and the turntable. And I think this only happens like on world load, which is where the issue comes from. The world loaded, something got messed up here. And yeah, it flubbed itself up. Whatever. I'll deal with that later. And then lastly, Night Shard mentioned that corundum clusters, because we were looking for corundum, these things, the violet corundum, we can craft this. However, if we can find some of this white corundum or any kind of corundum, really it doesn't have to be white, we just have to find it down underground, we can harvest this and then place it up to 4 blocks tall, and then it will sprout crystals off of it, like on the sides and everything. So if we go down to bedrock, we can farm out like a nice little square, get a bunch of this stuff, set it up, and go and let it run so we can get our corundum, because we need that corundum for what again? Somebody remind me. Dimensional crystal matrix, which is what we need to use to get into the dimensional storage actuator. And dimensional storage crystals are required for like the spawner core or an advanced charge porter. So we're going to need this for a lot of things, actually. Dimensional cells, all that good stuff. So there we go. Victoria Rose mentioned that if we set up for our source issue, if I were to set up a vitalic source link, that's this guy here, we could use this in conjunction with slimes that fall from the sky or a spawner or whatever, have them fall into some lava, and that generates a decent amount of source, and it can be completely automated. If we can get a slime spawner set up, we can just have it sit there, the slimes fall into lava, have this thing sitting next to it, bada bing, bada boom, Bob's your uncle, we got source generating. And then Scott Christopherson mentioned there is a Botania flower, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, there's a Botania flower that also generates mana from eating slimes, and that may work too. Instead of having them fall into lava, having them get eaten by the flower may work, and it has a second bonus of generating mana. So potential's there. Redanosaurus, one of the devs, mentioned that wandering traders, I asked if they reset their inventories. They do not. They do not reset their inventories over time. So my wandering trader that I had set up over there for Sunstone is no more. No more Sunstone from him, at least. However, I can slaughter the wandering trader and try and get a egg, because I do have capturing 5, so I have a pretty decent chance of getting a egg, and then get a spawner, and then mass murder a bunch of wandering traders to try and get the trades that I want, which, you know what, I'm perfectly fine with mass murder of wandering traders. They're always interrupting my videos, walking across my path when I don't want them to, so yeah, it's perfectly okay. James, one of the devs, said that I should get a create saw set up, just a simple saw, mechanical saw. Where's it at? This thing set up as a create machine to process all of my logs, because it's what gets me the most planks. So one log gets me 6 planks, and it can get us the tree bark and sawdust that we need too as a byproduct. And this is especially useful for like the ancient wood, because if you guys remember, I only got 2 from each piece of ancient wood, whereas this would get me 6. So it's definitely a good idea, something I can easily set up and do. Also, you can, with one button 4 times sawed, you get 12 cogwheels. Okay, interesting. James also mentioned that last episode I asked about our god shards and how we duplicate these, right? Because if you remember, I made my god forge and I got my god shard set up, and I was like, okay, what do I do next? Like, I have this, but how do I duplicate these? Because I know that there is a way to duplicate these. Well, it turns out what I'm looking for is the god forged block. This is what I want to make, is a god forged block, which is made simply with either 3 god shards and then some nebu. That will make it, which does have a return, because remember, you get 4 god shards when you craft, or when you break down a artifact. So you would actually end up with a bonus of 1 every time you did this. Or if you get some dusty mumbies, you can get 2 out of it. So you can do 1 artifact will turn into 2 artifacts. So that's how you can churn that. And then once we get a little bit deeper into tech, we can actually automate that. Now, I do believe that I have dusty mumbies, and I don't remember if I have them set up in our thing or not. But if not, that is something we can do. Dusty mumbies. Yes, look, I do. I have some of these. So let's go ahead and actually do this and see how this works, right? Because I'm all about duplication. Duplicate. That's what we do. Okay, so all I need to do is, well, put these back in here and put some dusty mumby honeycombs and do this thing. And bada bing, bada boom, we got a Godforged block. Now, getting a Godforged block is not the only step. We also need what's known as a Nebu hammer. Probably should have looked at the cost of this beforehand, but it's cheap. Look at that. I was worried. I was like, oh, maybe it's going to cost a shard or whatever to do this, but nope. Now, can this be enchanted? No, it doesn't look like it. Does it have durability? That's what I want to know. F3H. Durability. No durability. So we're okay. So now all I have to do is place my Godforged block down and get my Nebu hammer and break it with this. Bam. And look, it turned into 2 different fragments. We have Osiris's Mercy and... Oh, it turned into Osiris's Mercy. Yes, duh. It turns into 1 artifact, which just gets us 4 stuff when I break it down. Okay, yeah, duh. So it's going to get us 4 artifact or 4 god shards when it does. Now, Osiris's is actually a pretty good gain that we got here, because Osiris, if we take a look at Osiris's god shards, they are used to craft spirited crystals, and these are required. It is Osiris god shards that are required to make spirited crystals. We cannot use Horus, we cannot use Ra, we cannot use Seth. Osiris is the only one that we can use for this process. It's also the only way we can make a focus of Earth, apparently. Whatever the heck that does, I don't even want to look at that at all. Apparently, it's also used for Rune of Spring crafting as well. Spirited crystals, though, are what we would want to use this for, because we use these to make a bunch of stuff. Iron jetpacks, solar panels. We use these when we get into power, when we want to get a spirited spirited thingy, energy cells, or what are the things I'm looking for? Spirited capacitors, and then we can use these to make the reactor. That's what I'm looking for. The reactor from this mod, Power. Jeez Louise, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so Osiris shards are great. Good thing that we got this. I like it. When you die, you'll keep all your equipment and your active items. Cool. Thank you, Osiris. I appreciate that. And thank you, James, for telling me how that works, because now we can go, I can just go ahead and cycle this. Like, really, this is something I can do off camera, cycle through a bunch of these, and eventually we'll figure out how to automate this when we get more tech. I'm thinking, you know, like refined storage, constructor, and then to place the Godforge block, and then a modular router to break it with the God Hammer, maybe with an activator module, and then process those down, throw the artifacts into the thing just to get the shards. We'll see what happens. Anyway, next on our list is Nurik Sakura mentioned that there are some special mobs that I should put into our Drigme farm, specifically Botania flower mobs, or for Botania flowers. And it's probably not flowers. It's going to honestly be any of the generating flowers. But there are some of the generating flowers, apparently, that require a specific mob stuff in them. But I don't know. I'd have to look through all of these, which is kind of a pain. So, yeah. There we go. Masticator scales. Yeah, I know about the masticator. We're going to have to work on getting that done. Maybe that's what Nurik's talking about, is the masticator, because I'm seeing that a lot. And the masticator is a mob that we're going to end up spawning, which is going to destroy our aura, and it's a big pain, but it can go into our farm with our Drigmes, and we can farm the scales. Let's see. Also, Nurik mentioned that there is a quest for a ender chest with our field projectors, which is actually pretty cheap. Like, these field projectors are fairly cheap to make overall. This requires Eye of Ender, really, to make these miniaturization things. So we're definitely going to do this and get ourselves an ender chest. So thank you for that. And I already have an ender pouch, if you remember correctly, so I don't have to worry about doing anything ender pouch wise. I have that going. Nurik also mentioned that there is, it's recommended, so pipe pressurizers themselves use 100 RF to transfer an item through the pipe pressurizer. So like the one that we have back here requires 100 RF per item. Right now we're probably generating about 42 RF, maybe 50 with our thermal electric generator. So what we should do is probably put like a cheap thermal cell in between the pipe pressurizer and the thermal electric generator, just so that we have a buffer for things like that, because it may end up being more than our thing can handle. Right now we're okay, but any future projects that we have, it may be a good idea if we need to get a pipe pressurizer. Let's see, just a few more, almost done. Frau Lysophy mentioned that the problem with bins, which is why I've never thought of them before or used them, and then there is a issue with them that makes it so that storage doors are more convenient. We're going to actually pop back down here again, and you're going to see what the issue is in a moment. And that's the issue right there. Each bin requires a connection. In order to route items and put items into it, you need to have each bin with a singular connection, which can get very complicated and also kind of laggy if you're playing on a server. If you have to have something like this set up where you have a bunch of connections and then it's got to do logic to figure out where things are, it can create lag and all that good stuff. Whereas storage drawers, you have a drawer controller, which will put your items where it needs to go based on what's connected to the drawer controller, and only requires one connection. Also, storage bins, or these bins, once you take an item out, which actually, why don't I have more diamond honeycombs? Now that I'm thinking about it, I have a diamond bee over there. Where are my diamond honeycombs at? Anyway, once you take all the items out, the drawer empties, and then it can just fill itself up with whatever you want. You cannot lock a drawer or a bin, which is kind of a pain. I will throw that out there. Not being able to lock your drawer is kind of a pain. Where is my diamond bee? Hello. Slimy bee, water bee, RGB, lead bee. Does the diamond bee mutate into anything? Because I had a diamond bee in here. I know I did. Where is it? Uranium, osmium, silver, gold, tin, skeleton, blaze. Yeah, my diamond bee is gone. And I know the diamond bee just uses any sort of flower. I'm gonna be putting my diamond bee over here. I think maybe the diamond bee is getting mutated or something. And I just don't know what it would be turning into. But it seems like it's turning into... Is that a netherite bee? There's... It is. It got turned into a netherite bee. Transformed by the ghast bee. Okay, so that answers that question. So we must be generating netherite downstairs. I didn't even know. We have netherite available to us. How much netherite do we have, actually? What would that look like? You know what? Probably none, because I don't know what flower it needs. It requires a wither rose. Yeah, so we have not been generating any netherite. We have the bee for it, but it's not doing any work. Do I have a wither rose? No. Okay, darn. I was hoping maybe I had got one. Is it possible to get a wither rose from a wandering trader? Somebody let me know. If so, then we're going to be setting up that wandering trader thing much quicker than I thought. Okay. Robbie Smith mentioned that a better power generation than our thermoelectric is a power thermal generator than the thermoelectric things. If we can get a thermal generator, it can generate 390 RF per tick for each one, and it's not terribly too expensive. It does require a thermoelectric generator, just pressed, 3 of them, and then heat pipe and a magmator. All of this is absolutely doable. And that's 390 RF per tick. I'm adding that to my to-do list. Now there is it does require you to pump water into it. Oh, and if you pump water into it, it can generate up to 580 RF per tick if it's sitting on top of a blaze mesh. So kind of cool. Maybe we'll check that out, because that is a lot more power. Heck, we could even replace our whole, like if we were to set up like 3 or 4 of these, we could replace this whole setup and not have to worry about it. So potential. And then lastly, Xyloth Gamer mentioned that when we were doing our Tetra enchanting, and I was enchanting my sword, and I was concerned about my magic capacity on my Enderium blade here. It is not a hard cap as I thought it was. You can over enchant your item. You can enchant it beyond its magic capacity. If you do that, though, you're going to get what's called a curse on your item, which could be, it ranges. It could be, there's a whole bunch of negative effects and stuff that you can get. However, those negative effects can be removed by just dumping a bunch of lapis on it and applying the lapis, and you can, do that. So future updates or additions that we want to add to this, I'm not going to be so concerned, because we have lapis available to us in large amounts. Cool. And then this is everything that we've gotten so far from our Drigny farm, which is actually pretty darn good. I'm not going to complain about all this stuff here. Okay, so let's see. What do we got left? We got about 7 or so minutes left in this episode. So let's see what could we dive into real quick. This is a maintenance episode, it's looking like, because, well, I spent the past 14 minutes or 24 minutes really talking to y'all about updates and all that stuff. It happens every once in a while. I got to catch up on comments and everything, so that's what we do. But I just want you guys to know that I appreciate your comments and everything, and you chatting with me and all that stuff, and helping me out. So I want to make sure that you guys get credit where credit is due. So that's why I do this. Also, it was mentioned in the comments that the Bloody Bee requires a tier 4 altar, so getting that off of the list, that ain't happening anytime soon. Okay, so let's see, what could we set up? What could we do real quick to wrap up this episode, get something interesting going on? Maybe let's get ourselves our ender chest, finish off that quest. I think that might be a good idea. So what do I need? This, and then we need a total of 4 of these, which the craft actually makes 4. I thought this was going to be much harder, but no. Bam, 4 of those, and there we go. We got ourselves an ender chest for free. And guess what? There's another reward by getting an ender chest. What's that going to give me? RGB honeycombs, I guess. All right, well, it's not the greatest in the world. Now, this ender chest, I got to decide what I want to do with this bad boy. If you've never used an ender chest before, they are one of the absolute best items in modded Minecraft. One of my favorite things. It takes the ender chest, like the standard vanilla ender chest, and it makes it better. There's my ender pouch. And so your standard vanilla ender chest is just a personal inventory. You can open up and you can access it from anywhere, right? So like I could put an ender chest here, and then I can have one back. I can have one carrying with me, and I'll be able to access that at all times. However, the standard vanilla ender chest cannot be automated. You cannot hook a pipe up to it because the inventory actually does not exist in this block. It's basically another inventory that you have here, just hidden. Like, imagine if this was another 3 high and you just can't access it. That's basically what the vanilla ender chest is. It's tied to the player and it's part of the player's inventory. So it doesn't really help automation or anything. We can't use it for any sort of automations, which is where these ender chests come in handy. These are ender chests from the mod Ender Storage, and these are chests that have inventory. So for example, I just put those candles in here and I have it tied up to my ender pouch. And if I go over here, look, our candles show up over here. Bam. And these can be set to be different channels, essentially. So as you can see up top, we can kind of access, you can kind of see the little wireframe that goes around these little pieces here. We can color code these if we want to determine which chests are linked to which chests. So if I were to put a blue here and I had blue, white, white, and then I had another one that was blue, white, white, any items that ended up in this one would go to this one. If I had a white, white, white one, though, the items that went into this would not go into this, if that's making sense. And the same also applies to your ender pouch. You can color code your ender pouches too, which is pretty great. If you're playing on a server, just want to note you can also lock these. If you put a diamond in there, it will lock them to your player. That way, if you have a blue, white, white, it's not going to interfere with somebody else who has a blue, white, white, because there's limited colors. So by putting a diamond in there, it makes it your blue, white, white, not someone else's blue, white, white. Anyway, I got to decide what I want to do with these ender chests because I have a couple options here. I could use it to automate my. Really, I would need more than one. I was gonna say I could use it to maybe automate my stuff over there, but I would need more than one to be able to do that. So for now, we're gonna hold off. Normally what I would do is have the ender chest pipe into our system here. That way when I'm adventuring, I can just drop items into the ender pouch and it'll auto import into our system. And I can do that if I wanted to. Maybe. That's a low extraction module. And we'll see what happens. Anyway, so that takes care of that. And let's go ahead and collect our quests. And then that's going to probably wrap up our episode here. God Forge blocks, we got that, thank you. And then God torches. When used in place of Nebu torches in a sarcophagus chamber, they will call forth a pharaoh with a link to the deity in question. Oh, okay. So if we wanted Torch of Osiris, we could get 4 Torch of Osiris, and we're guaranteed to get a pharaoh of Osiris, which does make that a lot easier to farm. You still have to find a pyramid, which is the pain part, but then you can get the Torch of Osiris and then get the god shards and then start duplicating, and then it makes it a little bit easier, I guess you could say. Okay, cool. But yeah, okay, that's gonna be it for today's episode. I know, like I said, skip ahead at the beginning of my talking, and then it ended up being the whole thing. But I like to make sure that you guys are getting credit where credit is due, and I like interacting with y'all. So this was a maintenance episode. Next episode, we'll dive back in and get some magic-y stuff going on. We need to get occultism set up. I'll work on that in between episodes, and I actually will this time. And yeah, basically, that's where we're at. So if you enjoyed, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate it. It really does help out the channel. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.